Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So a little bit of a housekeeping today. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all back or joining us. And we had 3 weeks of busy of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I feel like time is flying. Of knitting. I actually was knitting full time, and it's like it's so exciting to see it grow. Um, love the pattern, Jennifer. It's like really interesting construction. And Jennifer, can you also unmute yourself for a sec? So I want to start with a little announcement. If we could not answer, obviously, all the questions because there is 750 people who participate in this knit along and 300 people who participate in the Zoom. So it just, the chat is very active and we love that, but it's impossible to answer everything. So if you have a question after this Zoom, you can email Jennifer, you can email the Knitting Guild, you can post it in the Facebook group or Ravelry book for the Knitting Guild, or you can put it under the video. I'm gonna post this video on Fiber Chats and you can post your questions there and I'm gonna pass it along to Jennifer or Donna. So we'll make sure that all the questions are answered, but it might not happen during this Zoom. The second thing that I wanted to tell you, so last time it was more of asking questions that you already sent us to Jennifer, asking Jennifer to answer your questions that were submitted to us. This time we want it to be more interactive. So we want to get to know you. And one way to do it, there is a react button. So on the bottom of your screen, there is a react button. If you click on it, it shows you recognize the hand gesture. Click on that, and that will allow you to raise your hand. So if you have a question, or if you would like to share your project with us, please just raise your hand because we have 300 people in the Zoom today, so it's going to be hard to find you if you don't raise your hand. So for any questions, or if you want to show us your colors, the colors you chose, or if you're doing cable or lace, so if you want to show us your progress, please raise your hand. And at the end of this Zoom, you really want to stay till the end because Donna has some very exciting prizes for the end. Do you want to talk a little bit about the prizes, Donna?
Oh, yes, it's my favorite part. Well, the knitting is my favorite part, but we do have some really good prizes. We're giving away a complimentary admission to the Next Level Knitting Conference. And if you have actually already purchased your ticket or signed up or registered for it, then we will refund you if you win that today. We also have giveaway from Pearl Soho. They've got their linen quill. It's a mini bundle. It's super cool, a whole collection of their yarns. And then we have some a set from Luca Needles, which is the interchangeable set of needles with the tote and a wooden ruler and the Noro magazine, and just a whole really cool prize package. So
That's so cool.
we'll do our names at the end.
Jennifer, did you get any interesting questions in this past few weeks?
Yeah, I got quite a few through Ravelry, and I feel like I was able to answer those satisfactorily so that people could keep moving on, which was great. One recent question that I've heard rumblings that keeps coming up is about joining the front panels to the back, and why the front is longer than the back. And if I don't know if you can see, whoops, I'll try and turn around. The reason the front is longer than the back is because this is your shoulder. There's no shoulder seam. So the front is going to continue down to the back to give you a back neck drop. And that's to take the stress off of that point of being at your back neck and letting all the weight come from your shoulders, because that the point where those comes together is just held by like a knit two together. So in order to release some of that pressure, it's further back down, and that's why your front is longer because it's going to continue before you join and give you that back neck drop. So
In
that was
fact,
one question that I wanted to address today.
Yeah, it's a very clever construction. I actually was looking at it and I was like, is it gonna be too long here? And then I saw
Yeah, that really, it's the fold line. That's the fold is your shoulder. So when you fold it after you're putting it all together, the front and the back are going to equal each other. One's not going to be longer than the other.
And that works for both cable and lace models, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's the same for both.
Well, does anyone want to show us your progress? Because we would love to get to know you a little bit better, and we want to see where you are in this pattern, whether it's you just started and you just got your colors, or if you're already almost done. So just raise your hand and I'm gonna add you to the screen and we can talk about how you enjoying this thing.
Hi, Pat.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you want to show us where you are?
Sure, I'm not very far along because I was late getting started and then I had to redo it like a million times. So I'm still on the first side. But
And you're doing which version? Are you doing the long, the short, the cable, the lace? Which one you decided on?
I'm doing the lace and I hope I'm doing the long.
Oh, that's beautiful. Are you knitting with Pearl Soho yarn, with the plain air? You enjoy this?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's very nice.
I find it gives this, like, it's not hot. It doesn't make your hands sweaty, but it's also has this perfect stitch definition. Like you can see these cables, they're like very 3D. And I see in lace, you also get like a lot of stitch definition. So
This is the knit side. Here's the pearl side.
So, you know, my favorite thing to do when I'm knitting lace, like, and it comes with any kind of lace, I take a spray bottle and I gently spray the surface of it and I spread it a little bit. And it's like watching butterfly open its wings when it's emerging from cocoon, because like suddenly you see the lace opening up and it's the most magical thing ever.
Oh, pretty good tip. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, give it a try. Amber, do you want to join me?
So I'm in the middle of a row. Let me adjust. So I'm about partway down the back. So you can see where I have it's kind of curling in a little bit, but I'm doing the lace, the short version in the blue. I really love this construction. It's so different. I was like, wait, we aren't shaping for the neck. And I was just like, so it was very interesting. So anyway, that's kind of what it looks like with the armhole.
The funny part, like when I got to this exact side, I was like, you know what? It would make also perfect leggings, because it's like if you put it next to your waist, it looks like leggings because you have this like long strips in the front. And I was like,
oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, I'm also working on a Ruana. And so that's why it kind of, the construction sort of reminded me of that a little bit, because you've got that same concept where you have the two panels in the front and then one in the back. So
was it hard for you to decide which way to go? Like, is it gonna be
very. I'm just tend to be drawn to lace a lot. And I thought, oh, I should do a cable because I hardly ever do cables. And then when it came down to it, it was like, well, I'd probably wear the lace more often. So
where are you located?
I'm in Napa, California. And so the material that this yarn is made from is perfect because of the cotton blend. It's not going to be so hot. And also the lace is also another thing too, because it's usually too warm here for me to actually wear really those nice big winter sweaters. So
it was actually funny because I had the same exact thought process. And I was like, I love lace. I always need lace. Maybe I should do cables. And then the temperatures just dropped to sub-zero. And I was like, I'm making cables. I need something long and I need something cozy. So it's sometimes it depends on where you live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Caitlin, do you want to join me?
Hi.
Hi.
I just have the first side done. This is it. So, whoop, wrong side. This is it so far. And now I'm starting the second one, the second side.
Was anything difficult at all, or is it like easy peasy pattern for you?
The only thing is I've done so many patterns where the first stitch is a drop stitch
Mm-hmm.
to have that edging. And I did that for a while and then realized that, no, I don't want to do that. So I, so I had to I took it apart again and redid it. But I think other than that, I still am, I'm not comfortable enough with it's the lace pattern, and I'm not comfortable enough not to follow every line yet.
I don't know, this particular pattern, I find it's like, I was talking to Isabel about it, and I said it's almost impossible to memorize it because there's just a lot of rows there. So you can familiarize yourself with the pattern, and so you stop like counting every stitch and you start glancing at the chart, but it's not the kind of pattern that you can just memorize and like go from your memory, neither for lace nor for cables. I feel like it's intricate enough that you have to sort of keep looking at the chart.
Right. But it makes it a more interesting outcome, I think.
Was it difficult for you to decide if you're going with lace or cables?
No, because I actually wanted something that was cooler, and I thought the cable would, or the lace would be cooler than cable, because I tend to run hot. So, and and I'm doing long sleeve and long version.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Mary, would you like to join me?
Sure. Can you see me?
Yep.
I'll just answer all the questions you've asked before. I think I chose the lace after I picked the color. I picked the plein air chartreuse pear, and it's such a springy green. I was doing the lace. I was going to do the long version, long sleeve, and on our last video, our last Zoom, Jennifer stood up wearing, I think, the short, I don't know, one she was. I was looking at her, and I don't remember if it was a table chair, whatever furniture she was near, and I said, that woman is very much taller than I. And so I got out my good garments, favorite, fits, and measured, and I'm doing the short, which comes on me. I'm 5 feet tall. It comes right to the bend, my thigh, low hip. So I'm so glad I'm not doing a tunic long version.
And I think it's a good point, like, when you decide on choosing the size, don't just think about the bust circumference, like think about your height as well, because for some people, the short can be the same
long
as the long shoulders. Yeah.
I was one of the people who asked on Ravelry, what to do. And Jennifer was talking about the sleeves. I finished last night, front and back. I have it pinned together to try on. And Jennifer told me something I had not considered, because I'm going to have to shorten the sleeve too. Otherwise, to change the positioning of the increases so that when I get to where it's going to fit in, it's still I think it's 87 stitches for my size.
Right.
Now that's so obvious, right?
Well,
I've
it's obvious
never,
when you
ever
already
thought of it.
It's obvious when somebody tells you that, and I'm glad that you're sharing this information, because I'm sure you're not the only 5 foot tall person in the crowd,
Probably not. Thank you.
Jennifer, can you join me for a second? I want to go more over that, the sleeves.
Sure. Okay.
Let's talk about it. So
Sure.
if somebody wants to adjust for their height, right, like Mary has, what's your recommendation? Let's go over it like for everyone.
Right. So what I had replied to Mary was basically, if you want to shorten it, so this has, you'll see, I'll try and show, it's got the full repeat of everything. If you wanted to shorten your sleeve, you could consider taking one full repeat out, or even half of a repeat, just so your pattern isn't too disrupted. And once you do remove some of that length, you will have to adjust how you increase so that you end up with the correct amount of width for the drop of your armhole. So those are the kind of things and decisions that you need to make based on any modifications. You just
And-
want to make sure it fits into your armhole depth, the top width of your, so that you end up with the right amount of width to fit into the armhole.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Casey, do you wanna join me?
Sure. I have a question. So I have this. Can you see?
Yep.
Mhm.
Not very well, huh?
It's
Okay.
Usually
so-
because of the filter for the Zoom, like if you
Yes,
the
it is.
background.
So my question is, my length is only 25 inches at this point, and I have just put the double in. So what should I do?
And according to the pattern, what is your length that you were expecting?
27. I'm the first one, and I
Okay.
was expecting 27 and a quarter or 27 and a half.
And you're 2 inches shorter at the row that you're expecting
That's
to be, is that what
correct.
you're saying? Okay.
Yes,
Are you using the Pearl Soho yarn?
I am. I'm using the
Okay.
yarn. I did the
Okay.
swatch, and it came out perfectly.
And did your raw gauge for your row count differ a lot from the blocked gauge for your row count?
No,
By that?
no.
No.
It was very similar.
Okay. So there's a couple of things you can do. I guess you can, to me, someone said a Ruana style earlier, and that's exactly right. This was based on a Ruana style silhouette. So that being said, in terms of fit and everything else, the length and how close you are to the final measurements is not completely crucial because it is a Ruana style. So it's going to find your center of your sleeves and it's going to hang on you back to front.
Okay.
So if you want that extra length, you'll just need to, continue in the pattern and get your extra length. But it's perfectly all right if it's shorter than what it was meant to be.
Okay. And what about the arms?
So that's going to be the key point where you have to make sure that your armholes are the correct length. That's the only point that's really going to be crucial, is so that your armholes, end up
Yes.
being the right width. If you want to add length, it kind of needs to be before you get to your armholes.
Okay. So
You know
I'm
what I mean?
happy with the length of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I'm
as long
fine
as you're
with it,
happy and
but-
it comes up shorter than what it was meant to be, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, but
It's just
let's
going to
talk
be
a little
shorter.
bit-
But just
let's-
make sure you have whatever the length is in your armhole. Make sure you get the length here.
So here, do you
Meaning from the point of where you bind off to your
Yes.
fold line.
Yes.
You just want to make sure, for instance, if this were 8.5 inches, you want to just make sure you have 8.5 inches before you, like don't make it 9 is what I'm saying. Like if you want an 8.5 inch armhole, just make sure that that point in particular is the right length.
And the right length means that it matches the pattern?
Matches
for
the
arm?
schematic. Matches the schematic for your armhole depth.
Okay.
And Jennifer, Vanessa was asking, what is Ruana style that you're referring to?
Oh, a Ruana is more like a poncho. And it's basically this silhouette where it's got your, front panels and sort of a V shape. And it's very easy and very not fitted. If you just Google Ruana, you'll see some silhouettes pop up.
Right. Okay, thank you. Karen, do you want to join me?
Greetings from New Mexico.
Oh,
I just wanted to represent cables and represent a yarn that I just pulled out of my stash so it's a little different look than everyone else's. So I thought I'd just represent diversity.
Yeah, please.
So this is an alpaca silk tweed blend. See if it's a dark brown. There it is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice.
And it's very soft and it will be very warm. And I want to thank Jennifer for helping me discover that I'm a better cable knitter than a lace knitter. Because every time I try to knit lace, my stitch count gets off and I go crazy. But I'm enjoying these cables a lot. Even my husband is impressed.
Wonderful.
Husbands are usually the harshest critics. They are very hard to impress. That must have mean a lot. Have you had any problems with cables, like losing stitch count or like messing up the cables at all?
I do every now and then, but it's so much easier for me to find my problem and fix my problem with cables than with lace. You know, I never got into the habit of a sanity line doing lace knitting. So I'm a cable knitter at heart. And I have a question for Jennifer based on the last speaker's question.
Sure.
I'm wondering, I'm also short and with short arms. So I was considering increasing the ribbing on the 3/4 length sleeve. What do you think about that solution?
Just at the cuff?
At the cuff, yeah.
So you're going to shorten the stitch panel and just make the cuff taller? Is that what you're saying?
I would leave the 3/4 length sleeve pattern as is and just make my length and make a 3/4 into a full
Into
length.
a long sleeve just by making a wide rib on to the rib.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly
no,
it.
that's
What do you think?
absolutely, you can totally do that.
Okay,
You'll get, your rib will hold up a little more and you may just get a bit of a poof. But probably
Ew.
not that drastic because actually the way this rib is blocked is, a bit more open. So yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Or I could maybe use my larger needle to make that ribbing rather than my smaller needle.
I don't think it's going to be drastic enough for you to have to go to a larger needle.
Oh, okay.
I think you'll be fine with it, truly.
Okay.
You don't want it too loose down at your cuff.
No.
So, and so here's the other thing you might want to consider. Since that 3/4 sleeve is kind of up here, so your opening is already wider, you may want to shape your rib. You may want to start smaller and increase up your rib before you get to that point.
Right. That's what I'm doing on the bodies. I'm using a 2 and then going to a 4.
Okay.
For the body.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
you may just want your cuff, to be not the width of the 3/4 cuff, because that'll end up, out here if you just go straight.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that might be fine too if you make that decision. But if it feels too wide, you'll just, you'll need to shape it down to the smaller size.
Okay.
But yeah, a taller cuff, a taller rib on it is a good solution.
Okay. It's easier, less
Yes,
math.
it definitely, yes, it's easier than dealing with changing the pattern.
Right. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. So Mary is asking, she said she's just starting and she made the swatch. The width is 4 inches, but the length is 4.5 inches. How do I work with that? And she's doing the cable version.
Sorry, repeat the swatch is 4 by 4.5?
4 by 4.5.
Oh, so she's saying her gauge, the amount of rows she's getting 4.5. Again, I think you know, the note about row gauge being important in this was really if you want to make sure that your pattern, you know, starts at one point and finishes with a full repeat. If the row count is off, the only thing that's going to happen is, you know, maybe your pattern will end on a different row. So that's, if it's important to you for the full motif to show, then I would worry more about the row count or the point where the row ends, and not worry so much about the length being the right length. And again, the only key part of that is your armhole. You know, you just might need to make sure you adjust in the armhole area.
Nadine, do you wanna join us?
Yeah, sure. On the note of not altering the pattern, there was no way I was going to decide between the lace and the cable, so I made them have a baby.
That's
So it's
lovely.
the long version, but with a similar but slightly different pattern.
Beautiful.
I like that.
Kind enough to help me out.
Yeah, lovely. That's beautiful.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It was a tough one to figure out, but thanks.
Are you doing it are you part of the Handmaster Knitting program?
Yeah.
I don't know how I could tell, but it's ambitious people who like to challenge themselves. Well, did you have any trouble figuring out how to do that?
Well, it was kind of because I started just doing the cable version with additional yarn overs, but then doing, instead of 2 knits, I had 1 knit, but it didn't really look right. And so the struggle is that the stitch count differs throughout the pattern, because basically every time there's a cross, I add in a yarn over, but I have to decrease a stitch in order to be able to block it open. So it's kind of a weird cable chart as well, because you're missing stitch columns in between. So no, it's not as easy to memorize, but I mean, it's a challenge and I like it.
Well, do you see making any other modifications to this pattern? Because it's, after all, it's pick your own adventure kind of pattern, right? So do you think you're gonna do something else that's not in the pattern?
No, I think the rest of the pattern it will work fine. It was just that I really couldn't choose between the cable and the lace version, so I had to come up with a solution for that.
Why did you choose between the long and short?
Well, I'm pretty tall, so I was thinking, and also I prefer to wear longer vests or longer cardigans, so that was quite easy to figure out. It was just the cable and lace I couldn't really differ.
And are you doing the long sleeves or the short sleeves?
Probably the long ones, and then maybe add a little ribbing because I have long arms as well. So yeah.
Are you enjoying this knit along?
Yes, very much so.
So what was exciting for you to, like, what made you decide to join the knit along? Because the Handmaster Knit program, it's you on your own, you just being supervised and guided, but like you don't deal with other people.
Just to have something different than this. No, I mean, the Master Hand Knitting program is a challenge, but it can be very lonely and very frustrating as well if something doesn't work the way you want it to work. So then it's very nice to have a pattern on the side or a project on the side that's just working the way you want it to work.
Thank you. Isabel, do you want to join us?
Okay, my story is a bit sad, so this is why I hesitated. Since I am a member of TKGA, I got the pattern very fast, and I decided to wait. I didn't have the yarn at home. I decided to wait. Barcelona needs to buy yarn, and I got this one, which is pure wool. And when I did which I ended, so I cannot show it, but when I did the sample, it was just invisible, just a big knot. It was just horrible. So I started looking for a yarn that is similar to the one that you advise, and I found the drops one, which is half cotton and half merino, which is just fine. And I bought a lot more because I always think, oh, I would like to do a hat, I would like to do something else. So I always buy more now. And I decided I'm going to start with a sample, show the right side. So I decided I went for the lace. And then I noticed I was making so many mistakes. My holes were not aligned, and I was undoing. This has been undone and redone and undone and restarted because I couldn't find where I was. So I said, okay, since I have done the lace and I think I'm getting better, which really I think it is supposed to look like this. Well, never mind. Then I decided, so that I would remember the things, I'm going to stick all parts together. I'll do a sticking on the sleeves, and I will do a grafting on top. Let's be crazy. So I started this, and the lace was not my friend, definitely. So I decided, okay, I'm going to keep on without the lace and do it straight. And then I thought, okay, let's be serious. Why not try the cable? So I tried the cable, and and then a project came, which was urgent, secret, so I won't talk about it. And of course, it told me, okay, let's change for something. So I am doing the sample for the cables, and which I stopped here at the blue. I have done the blue today, and I am doing lots of mistakes. I have to concentrate a lot. I cannot do it publicly, and so I will take my time. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do it without the lace and cables. But okay, what do you think of my everything stuck together?
Jennifer, what do you think about it?
Is that you're doing it without side seams? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Everything stuck together?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a modification that can be done. I'm always a lot of my patterns I write with seams. I'm not typically one to do things in the round, but if that's works better for you, and go for it. I think it's great.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Amy, do you wanna join me?
Sure. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm not very far along because I just sent in my Master Hand Knitter level 2 box this week. So wish me luck.
Best of luck.
And I'm using a stash yarn. I don't know if you can see behind me. I am
You have some stash.
Yeah.
When I was working over the last 15 years or so is when I started knitting, and I started collecting yarn so that I would be able to knit in my retirement. I was afraid I wouldn't have enough money to buy yarn. So I have a lot. So I am using Cascade 220, which I know is bigger than the DK that is recommended, but I did meet the gauge perfectly on size 6 needles. Oh my gosh. And I'm using, whoa, let me get a little light on there. I'm using this purple Tweety Marley stuff, and I am going to do the cables.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
So we'll see how it comes out. I'm really thankful for all of the people who have been asking questions, and Jennifer for providing some guidance that it's really helpful as I kind of dive in here. And thank you everybody for your congratulations and good luck wishes.
I feel like it's also so empowering when people ask questions, because lots of times you sit home and you're just feeling dumb. You're thinking it must be me. Like, I just don't get it. And then somebody goes and asks the question, and that's exactly the question I had. That's what was troubling me. So please do ask questions, because you're not only helping yourself, you're helping all the other people who just too shy to ask the same thing. And yeah, congratulations on getting to second level. The knitting goals. Does anybody want to share? Becky, let's add you also.
Hey, I'm in Mexico City on vacation,
Oh, nice.
and I waited to start until I got down here so that I would have something to work on besides the rest of the yarn in my suitcase. There aren't a lot of good yarn places where I am, so I did not want to be stranded. Good job, Amy, on getting book 2, level 2 in. I just got mine back and refuse to open the box until I get home because I don't want to think about it while I'm on vacation.
So good. Yeah.
Lord willing, it's not bad. Anyway, I'm doing the lace. This is the Pearl Soho. I forget the name of the color, but it's kind of a taupe and I really like it. And I live in Southern California, so I'm doing the short with the lace because it'll be a little cooler.
I'm actually obsessed with this color, so I would be very curious to hear the name of it at some point when you're back home.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
I might just have to make a lace version of this thing, because now it's like I see this color, I'm like, I want that. Dalton, do you want to join us?
Sure. So you mentioned the Ravelry group. I wasn't in the first meeting. I had a guild meeting to go to locally. So would you remind me where that is to be?
Donna, can you maybe put the link in the chat so people can find it? And then I'll put it also in the description of the video so you guys can find it. There is a Facebook group for the Knitting Guild, and there is a Ravelry group. So if you can put both of those in the chat, that would be great. Have you started yet?
There.
Oh, that's beautiful. So did you decide on which version you're doing?
I'm doing this as a gift from my mother, and she wanted the closed with the 3/4 sleeves with the long length. And the way I did it, because we're far apart, is I had to measure her favorite sweater. So I knew what to do exactly to make it match.
Are you doing cables or lace?
I'm doing cables. I'm not doing the lace.
Well, it looks beautiful. Thank you. John, do you want to join me?
I was having trouble because when I was deciding what I was going to do, I was like highlighting my size, my choices, and it was a hot mess. So for other people who might have the same trouble I have, I then picked out the parts that I was going to do and put them in another document. So I have only my instructions. And then I also had trouble because when I printed the chart, the blocks really didn't show. So on the things that were like plain open blocks, there was just a line of blank without anything, and I was counting them every time. So I actually online drew in better lines for me. So because now
Perfect.
I can actually see each individual block, because that was important. I'm liking the pattern. I'm short with short arms, so I'm making it the short version exactly the way it is written, and I'm not worrying about the inches of length and stuff, because I figure it will be okay for me. If it's a little longer, that's okay. If it's a little shorter, that's okay too. So, and I'm using the Pearl Soho yarn, so it's very nice to knit with.
Yeah, I find it like I was surprised how nice it is, like as a feel, because there's something about it. Like it doesn't, sometimes when you knit with heavy yarn, like your hands getting all sweaty because it's so warm, and this one is like perfectly breathy. Okay, so does anybody want to tell us why you decided to join the knit along and what you like about it, or if you have any other suggestions on how we can improve and make it easier for you. Yes, Julia.
Hey,
Hello.
so I'm Julia, and I joined the knit along. My mom and I, we are knitting together, and we're actually each here on our computers on the Zoom, and we are meeting together once a week in the evening to knit together while we're knitting along, and that's why we joined.
We love that. Are you making the same exact version, or are you making different ones?
Oh no. Okay, so she's a master knitter, and so she is changing hers to fit her exact length, and I'm a baby knitter, and I'm knitting the pattern exactly.
You have an expert at the house. It's like
I'm knitting the long lace version, and she's knitting the short.
So who do you think is going to get to the finish line first?
She is, because I still work full time. So
yeah, I'm retired. She works full time.
Well, we love having both of you with us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Amy, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, because I just sent in my box, I wanted to have what Carolyn Vance calls civilian knitting ready to go. So this is my fun stuff to do.
I'm so glad you could join us. Thank you. Okay, so now it's the most exciting time of the Zoom. We're gonna add Donna, and she's gonna tell us about the prizes.
Before I do the prizes, I just, John had a question that I wanted to see if we could answer before we end. He said in the last knit along, there was a mention of doing sleeves in the round. And there was a comment about changes in increases, and could we discuss that a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. So, I think the thing it's totally possible to knit your sleeves in the round. What I would suggest, the person who had asked about knitting in the round also asked about picking up stitches to do so. So, the only thing I would recommend if you're going to be knitting in the round, you're going to pick up stitches along your armhole. I would knit flat for the first, here, I'll show you. Knit flat for the first bit until you get to the end, and then start going in the round to do the rest of your sleeve. And you'll just have to sort of re-engineer your pattern so that you're decreasing instead of increasing as you go down to your cuff. Now, if you're not picking up first and you're going to attach it later, you'll just continue as you would, and then maybe split at this point to work flat at the top, just because underneath it's not a circle, it's straight across. So that's why, that would be my only reason why not to, just to separate it so that you get a nice straight line at your seam. I hope that addresses it.
Awesome. Thank you for that explanation, Jennifer. I think a lot of people may want to try
There's some math involved for sure that you'll have to try and figure out, because you're sort of re-engineering it, but it's definitely possible.
Awesome. Thank you. So do we want to do prizes now?
Yeah, let's do prize. But before we do the prizes, I just want to say one last time for people who maybe joined later, if you guys have any questions that we haven't answered, which very possible, please either email to Jennifer or email to the guild or post it in the Facebook group or Ravelry group. You can also put questions on the description of this video when I post it on Fiber Chats, so we can see your questions and help you along the way, and hopefully it's gonna go smoothly from there on. So now let's do the drum roll, the prizes.
Awesome. Okay, so our if I call your name and you want to give a little shout out, that's fine. Just unmute yourself. First, we've drawn random names. So our first prize is a complimentary admission to Next Level Knitting Conference. And this is going to be held virtually April 4th to the 6th. If you're available, that's great. You can do classes live. If you don't, then as long as you've registered before the conference, you can log in and watch all the presentations for up to 6 months, all the classes, or you can rewatch if you're learning something, you may want to watch the class more than once. So our winner is Shirley Tomini of Tijeras, New Mexico. Congratulations, Shirley. And our next prize is we have a prize kit from Luca Needles, which includes a set of their Indigo interchangeable needles, knitting tote, a wooden gauge ruler, gold-plated scissors, and an issue of Neuro magazine, their latest one that's out now. And our winner is Hillary Lasky of Linthicum Heights, Maryland. Congratulations, Hillary. Okay, and our last prize is from Pearl Soho, which is our yarn sponsor, and we're giving away one of their 40 color mini bundles of linen quill. And this is a fingering weight blend of 50% Highland wool, 30% alpaca, and then 15% linen, 35% alpaca and 15% linen. It's really, really cool colors. And the winner is Chris Stone of Henrietta, New York. Congratulations, Chris. Congratulations to all of our winners. If you won a digital prize, you'll get an email this afternoon with the particulars on that. If it's a tangible physical prize, those will go out to you early next week. And we'll use the address that you used when you registered for this Zoom. And our final Zoom call is going to be Saturday the 15th. It's our last one, same time. Registration for that will probably open on Monday. I might have it up today, but let's just say Monday, just in case. And you can find that at tkga.org/KAL. The Pearl Soho discount of 25% off plein air, the code is TKGA 1124G. That is good until February 25th, but I'm honestly not sure what time they're cutting that off. So we updated the website to say that it's good through February 24th, just in case. So if you want to do more shopping, you've still got time. They do not allow it to be combined with any other discount, but there's no sale or promotion running right now. So it's good, you can use it. What else? We have knit along videos, which I think a lot of you have probably been watching, that Jen did it's the TKGA Knits YouTube channel. We have a playlist for this knit along, so they're all there, the cast-ons and bind-offs, and so those are really good to watch too.
And you guys, of course, all know that one click subscribing to the TKGA channel, or my channel for this matter, costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps other people to discover these channels. So even if you never watch another video again, it still helps others to discover the channel. And there is also, so somebody was asking to repeat the date. So the next Zoom is going to be on February 15th. At the same 2 p.m. Eastern time, and you have to sign up for the Zoom again, because that's how we determine the prizes. And John, do you wanna join?
I have contacted Pearl Soho about the yarns that are out of stock. If you are interested in purchasing yarn with your coupon or your discount, some of the yarn is not expected to be in until mid-April. So they will still honor that coupon. If you have any trouble, contact customer support and they should be able to help you with that.
Oh, that's great to know. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. It was super fun getting to know some of you and seeing your progress. And I hope next time we'll get to see more people sharing their progress. Just to clarify, you do not have to be done by next Zoom. You can just be starting by next Zoom. It's totally fine. It's not too late. We're doing it more to just create this sense of community, get to know each other, have fun together, learn something new together, and answer the questions that you might have about it. So please.
The only deadline you have is the Next Level Knitting Conference, April, what day are we doing this? 4th? I think we're getting together the 4th, 5th.
5th.
So it's, we're doing a Friday night get together where we'll have a
That
Zoom.
would be, you're right, that's the 4th. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's all a blur, 4th to the 6th. So we'll do a live Zoom where everybody can show off and wear our Pick Your Pattern cardigans, which will be so cool. And that will be our event for Friday night. We actually are just starting to get information in, which is on our website now, for our Saturday night event, which is a keynote presentation by Dr. Jennifer Daly called Fair Isle Knitting in the Shetland Islands. And this is going to be super cool. I'm really looking forward to her presentation. She's going to talk about the evolution of Fair Isle knitting, Fair Isle motifs, patterns, color. So if you like stranded work or just color work or just Scotland, it's going to be a nice evening. At the end of the presentation, we're doing drawings for 2 of her kits, which include a pattern and then the yarn from Jameson's. It's the Shetland Spindrift, which will be nice. And then since Saturday night is all about Shetland Islands, we're also doing giveaways for copies of the Yarn Journal of Scottish yarns and a book bundle by Story Publishing. So it's going to be a fun, like, destination-based evening, and that's Saturday night during Next Level Knitting Conference. And registration is open now for the conference.
That's so exciting. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And until next time, happy crafting you all. Thank you. Bye.